We all agree fairness in health or health equity is important, but it can be hard for us to know what it means in practice. So, we sat down with a range of people and asked them one question. What is health equity?
Health equity. What is health equity?
I think most people think of health equity as primarily about not being sick.
When it comes to health, we know there are complex issues we need to address around discrepancies in health status and access to support. We know that issues of health have a wider impact on areas like employment, opportunity and inclusion. And while there are many great frameworks and strategies out there, in our attempts to define and develop solutions, we can often lose sight of real people and their experiences. So, we took the conversation to them. We reframed the question. Instead of asking, what is health equity? We asked, when it comes to good health, what do we deserve? What do we owe to each other?
I think when it comes to health, we all deserve fairness. We all deserve the system to support all of us equally and have the opportunity to make the choices that we want to make.
If you don't have your health, you really don't have anything. So health is life, health is wealth. It's essential.
The thing that we owe each other is that connected health.
Respect plays a major part because it determines whether people want to open up.
I think when we see kind of unfair outcomes in society, we should be really concerned about that. When we see them often, we start to see them as normal, and the risk is that we see them as acceptable, and we tolerate them, and we become less likely to do something about them.
I dread to think what it would be like to live in a country where your access to health and good health is only determined by the value of your material self-worth.
Well, I think we owe each other more than just a hospital bed or a Medicare form. We owe people respect.
I think we owe each other not your dominance, but your difference, because we're all different. We're not just intersecting, we're just different. And how do we empower people's difference to tell their truth, their experiences?
I fully embrace my job as a carer and I want to empower the people I work with. I make them laugh. I dance, sing terribly, and some love it that I have to check my blood sugars or I have to eat healthy because if I don't, then I have a specialist to answer to.
Here in Melbourne, Coolin have practiced integrated health for 2,600 generations, not years, but generations.
Health is a sovereign practice of many thousands of generations of the first peoples of this land.
So the question is, how do we relate to bring those lessons into modernity that supports a new way of thinking about health?
It is about having access to doctors, but it's a lot more than that. It's a much more integrated approach to thinking about well-being.
It's really important when we're thinking about health that we think outside the health sector as well. Health is created by employers, by education facilities, by local communities.
Good health for me is about the basics, understanding that we have a responsibility to everyone, whether we work directly in health, whether we work in health policy, whether in fact all we are doing is supporting our friends, our families, our colleagues. It's about having baseline compassion and understanding for people, understanding that we'll all at some point need help.
If there's not the combination of care for myself and care for the community around me, then being healthy, what does it mean? What does it matter?
I think there needs to be more empathy, a lot more understanding and a lot more support for individual circumstances.
When you meet one person with autism, you've met one person with autism. So having the same for everyone just does not realistically work.
I think when we have good health, we're in a much more positive state of being mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. We tend to then attract life.
It ranges depending on your life stage. I think it's impacted on by the environment around you. It's about having a community around you who are paying attention to your needs.
Because if you didn't know what position you were going to hold in society, you didn't know if you're going to be advantaged or disadvantaged, or you're going to be wealthy or not wealthy, how would you design that system? How would you design that product or that service? And ultimately, if people didn't know where they were going to end up, they're much more likely to design a fair system, given that they might be in some of those lower positions. I think for organisations that are out there, they really need to start with just putting their values first. That could be as simple as just caring for your employees.
An enterprise that exists for a purpose, an enterprise that might, for example, take on a person with an intellectual disability or an acquired brain injury, you cannot underestimate the impact that that would have on a person who has very limited opportunity to interact with other people. It has a very, very significant and positive impact on their health and well-being.
No one person or no one piece can solve the problem overall. We really need to think about everybody coming together, having a common voice and all playing the roles that we can play.
Sometimes we can spend so much time with sharp definitions and all of the detail and all of the processes, and it can just get in the way of the people.
Together we can be more than what we are by ourselves. I think if we can come together, if we can start to work together, the product that we'll make will be stronger than anything that we can achieve individually.
When you lead a small change, hopefully that can lead to that small change repeated many times, or lots of small changes taking place. That collectively we have a really big change, we have a movement, and that can really create something genuine.
That costs of inaction are measured in far more important things than in dollars and resources. It's people we're talking about here. It's measured in people. I mean, we're never really going to figure everything out. So long as we have an idea about where we'd like to go, we can figure it out as we get there.